And that means making sure that our workers are focused, trained, and differentiated from our competitors around the world. Along with the administration and key corporate leaders, I am convinced that increasing the number of effective partnerships between American business and our community colleges is the way to do that. All of you in this room and the institutions you serve will play a vital role in the success of Skills for America's Future. We are very excited about its potential to revolutionize workforce development in this country, and we're looking forward to working with all of you to ensure this important endeavor succeeds. Thank you, and Karen and I'd be happy to take your questions at this time. Should we sit here?
Thank you, Penny, for sharing information on Skills for America's Future. It's a very exciting initiative that we learned about on October 5th at the White House Summit. Of course, the Association of Community College Trustees is very excited and looks forward to working with you as well so that we can leverage the collective power of community college boards throughout the country in support of that. Before we turn to some Q&A, I do want to wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day. And for those of you that are aspiring Cupids, I would simply say the day is still young, so you still have time to make it up to your loved ones. I know many of you are here without them, as I am, but I've taken care of my issue and hope that you have taken care of yours as well. With that, now, Penny has agreed, along with Karen, to take any questions that you might have. We have 2 microphones in the center aisles. I would invite those who would like to ask a question to approach the microphone. I would ask that you introduce yourselves, say where you're from, and ask a question. And when I mean a question, I mean a question. Okay, I don't want a novel, and I don't want to know where you went to high school and all that. We want to be very respectful of our speaker's time and allow others to ask. So please, if there are questions, I invite you now to come to the microphone and ask any questions you have of Penny or Karen relating to Skills for America's Future.
Yes, Lyndon Warfel from Parkland College, Champaign, Illinois. Penny, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned 22 million graduates and 5 million certificates or something. Did you get those numbers backwards? Don't we need many more people in skills training and than we do actually in college graduates?
I think it was 5 million graduate degrees is what I said. 22 million college and 5 million graduate degrees. At least that's what I meant to say. Maybe I wasn't clear.
Okay. Oh, here comes one. Yes, sir.
Les Levine from Montgomery College, right up here in Maryland. I have a question for Penny, which isn't about Skills for America, but is related, I think. One of the things that strikes me as a new trustee is the enormous disparity in philanthropic giving to the community colleges as opposed to the four-year schools and universities. Do you have any ideas as a philanthropist what we can do to change that?
The question is really how, there's a great disparity between the four-year colleges and their fundraising capacity versus those of the community colleges. I think one of the things that we're hoping to do with Skills for America's Future is raise the profile of the work that the community colleges are doing so that it's far more top of mind for the philanthropy world. I think the ideas and opportunities, one of the reasons that we were pleasantly excited by the corporate response is I think through corporate involvement with community colleges, through partnerships, that will help raise awareness of their effectiveness and the incredibly broad job that you all are doing across such a great swath of each of our local populations, that I think that once that service and role is better understood, I think within our own city. I know in Chicago, our city colleges, which is what our community colleges are called, they're within the philanthropic community are largely unknown and unsung. And they're going through a reinvention of themselves. And part of that reinvention is to also raise their profile in the city and among the leaders within the city. And that's something that, you know, personally I'm trying to help happen in Chicago, but also through Skills for America's Future. I think what we're trying to do is really to raise the profile of the work that you all are doing and therefore bring greater attention to the philanthropic community.
Claire Oleos, Elgin Community College, Elgin, Illinois. I had the pleasure of seeing you speak about a year ago at a women's entrepreneurial conference at Navy Pier. And my question is, if what you're looking at in scope is also encompassing not only health careers, but the health of America's worker. In my day profession, I'm a chiropractic physician, and there's a lot of being done in terms of looking at children's health, but I am interested if this is encompassing looking at the health of America's workers as far as their competitiveness in best practices.
Good morning. I'm Karen Elzy. I'm the Director of Skills for America's Future at the Aspen Institute. Thank you for your question. Ultimately, we have not looked at focusing more on the health of the worker. We're really trying to keep a narrow focus, looking at the relationship on public-private partnerships with a real focus on skills and job creation and hopefully job attainment. We want to make sure that the individuals coming out of all of your phenomenal institutions actually have the skills necessary to take advantage of what the employers have to offer in terms of jobs moving forward. But it's certainly something we'll keep on the radar screen. As Penny said, we're just getting started, so we want to make sure we start with a targeted approach initially and then expand as we have capacity to do so.
Thank you.
Beverly Simone from Southeastern Community College, Burlington, Iowa. There is such a disconnect between the rhetoric of community colleges' importance in economic development and what's happening in some of our states. For example, in Iowa, the governor just cut the community college budgets, but kept all the money in the privates. So we don't want to be against anything, but how can we work with you? I know you're just getting this initiative going, but tell us what you would like us to do so that we can strengthen this communication and this partnership.
Sure, that's a great question. There are a couple things. One is, you're absolutely right, we're in a time of serious political discussions in terms of the value of community colleges, and then are we really going to support community colleges through financial resources and with other aspects of that work. So one of the things I need from you is help understanding who are your business champions currently within your local community. How do we work together to develop an effective policy agenda? I think, as Penny said, raising awareness among the business community is crucial because we need them to better understand what community colleges do if we want them to become better advocates on behalf of the system. And that's certainly a goal we have going forward, is to make sure that we get not the same handful of business people that you're all familiar with who will go out and talk about community colleges, but that we widen that group of individuals who are willing to talk at both the local, regional, state, and at the federal level about the policies that need to be in place in order to support community colleges and ensure that we have a skilled workforce going forward. So feel free to flood my email box. I'd love to hear from all of you about what's happening at your community colleges. What are these best practices and promising practices you have, and how can I help raise those practices at a national level?
All right, I'm going to go all the way back to the gentleman who's been standing there first, and then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Jordan Humphrey. I am the student trustee from Parkland College in Champaign, Illinois. In your previous comments, Penny, you actually stated small businesses as kind of numerous partnerships with small businesses as ineffective and costly. I just wanted to start up my question by saying, in many ways, I think I speak for us all when we say that our communities thrive off of these small businesses, and especially any partnerships that we may garner with them. In what ways would these many numerous partnerships be ineffective, or in what ways would they be too costly? Because it seems like it is to our best advantage and to our community's best advantage to actually have such partnerships.
Thank you. I think one of the things we were most concerned about was not the ineffective relationships between small businesses, but the ineffective relationships of having solely just businesses come one-on-one to a community college. And how can we help aggregate that demand? What is the capacity of the community college to address partnerships with the business community? And if 25 businesses just come knocking on the door, is that the most effective way to start to engage that conversation and that process? So I think small businesses are absolutely critical. I mean, when I talk to community college presidents and trustees, and they talk to me about the wealth generation and the role of the community college in supporting wealth generation, clearly small and mid-sized businesses in the regions in which you serve are absolutely critical, and we're going to need to engage them through industry associations as well as large businesses.
Yeah, I think what we were really trying to say is that if you have lots of little demand from business that's just little bits, it would be much better to aggregate that effort in interfacing with you. And that's what we meant by inefficient. Not that we think small business is inefficient. I run a lot of small businesses and try very hard to not have them be inefficient, nor that their interface with various training is inefficient.
Okay, now it gives me great pleasure to acknowledge the woman in red.
Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Kathy Schatzberg. I'm the president of Cape Cod Community College in Massachusetts. The news this morning is that the president's budget will cut Pell dramatically. And my question is, how will we achieve those increased numbers of degrees if we limit students' ability to attend? And what can PRAB do about that?
Well, thank you for raising that issue. I have not had a chance yet to really study what the president has proposed in terms of the cuts around Pell Grants, but I think ultimately it does involve the whole concept of getting the business community to become advocates on behalf of community colleges and understanding what the ramifications are when making some of those cuts and how community colleges will then be expected to fulfill their mission. So I think one of the things that we really want to look at is developing that capacity to ensure that the business community is standing alongside of you, talking about the value of the policies that need to be in place if you're to meet the mission that everyone has agreed upon for community colleges. So that's certainly a long-term process, but that's one of the things we're targeting in terms of getting the business community engaged.
I would just add parenthetically that that's why your two national organizations, AACC and ACCT, are trying to build partnerships with Skills for America's Future and others, because together, when we work collaboratively around our interest areas and those of our communities, we can try to move the ball forward, and we can do a better job, I would submit, in forming public dialogue and policy decisions in these areas. Let me go to the gentleman all the way in the back.
Thank you. I am Dr. Agapito Lopez. I am from Nanticoke, Pennsylvania, trustee. My question is also related to the other questions in the economy. What are the plans of the administration, the present administration, to allow one of the goals that was mentioned, which was to help those economically challenged students to get education is there any other funds aside from grants or from business partnerships?
Yeah, in terms of the federal government, I mean that's certainly a better question that I feel less confident to answer than some of my colleagues within the federal government. I mean, clearly the one pot of money that all of you are more than aware of right now is the $2 billion that's been out from the Department of Labor on the trade adjustment, community college, and career training grants. Whether there will be additional funding streams, I think once we have a chance to review the budget proposal that was released today, we'll start to have a better idea of where the administration is moving. I have not had a chance to look at that document yet.
Thank you.
I was just talking to Penny. I mean, Skills for America's Future is one strategy that we're engaged in. But I would say this, Karen did mention the money that will become available later this year through the Trade Adjustment Act that the President signed last March. That's that $2 billion, $500 million a year out to community colleges and others to focus specifically on skills and skill preparation and economic development. You will be hearing later today from our legislative team from both organizations about other priorities and other areas that we have interest in the federal government. I think you know that we have kept our eyes firmly on the various prizes that exist at the national level to help you do your jobs. I will say that we're extraordinarily excited and grateful to have a near record turnout at this NLS. You couldn't be here at a better time. The stakes are very high, and we're very excited about your being here. And what you do here the next couple of days will have a profound impact on not only the direction of federal policy, but our success in securing scarce resources for your communities all across America. So I commend you for that. With that, let me turn to the woman over here in front of me. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Mary Ellen Denemy, trustee from Colorado Mountain College. Has anyone put together a concept of like a nationwide matchmaker site where the businesses and the colleges can go to and find compatible type things together?
Well, that question is very timely. That's actually where we're headed. Ideally, we would like to develop a website that would allow colleges to put in what their needs are and businesses to put in what type of expertise in areas in which they would like to provide assistance. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the website Donors Choose for K-12 education, but I envision it something like that, where we can actually help facilitate that matchmaking between colleges, and I think that would be and businesses, and I think that would be a great opportunity for businesses to participate with colleges in a variety of areas across the country, so that we can better understand the needs of the colleges and better match with the experiences of the businesses. So yes, that's someplace we're headed.
All right, we have time for just two more, so I'm going to go first to the gentleman in the foreground here, and then, sir, you in the back. Go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Clement Prevost. I'm from Texas City, Texas, College of the Mainland, and I'm a trustee. I'm also 1 month retired from industry, and I came from a skilled industry. So my question is, I know in today's times, the labor unions feel like they are losing strength. They don't have the strength that they had in the 60s and the 70s when in the early 80s when I hired on in the industry. So what I'm asking is, have you guys talked to union leadership to get them to collaborate with the labor commissions and also to collaborate with industry to talk about bringing up the skills of union members, and in that way collaborate with the colleges to help them get there. So have anyone talked to the unions, the labor unions?
Labor participated in all the work that we've done so far, and they'll continue to be a part. As you know, the labor movement is does an enormous part of training in certain industries. And so they're represented on our board, as well as involved in the preparation of everything that we're doing. So it's, regardless of the size of the labor movement, it's very important in many industries that we're talking about being involved in.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Last question, gentleman all the way in the back. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Excuse me there. I'm Bob Marston, trustee at Montcalm Community College in Michigan. You've talked about partnerships and co-ops and so on with business and industry. Could you elaborate just briefly on the partnerships you're establishing with secondary programs in schools?
We've initially focused solely on looking at the business industry partnerships and have not gone down into the K-12 level. And we've been looking more about what employers can do specifically with the community colleges. I do understand there are a number of effective partnerships between the secondary schools and the post-secondary education institutions, but we really wanted to focus on the needs of adults in particular and ensuring that our workforce is getting the skills that they need now for the jobs that are available.
But the natural extension of what we're doing is to also take those partnerships into certain parts of the K-12 curriculum. I know certainly in Chicago that would make perfect sense in some of our technical high schools. So that's a sort of a next evolution of where we'll end up. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your attention to our new endeavor and your willingness to hopefully participate. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you, Penny and Karen, for being here. Great information, great opportunities. Please look for ways to get involved. Before I adjourn this session in preparation for the next, just a housekeeping duty. On your tables, you have an evaluation form. I hope that you will take the time to complete the evaluation, not only at this session, but all sessions here at the NLS. We actually read them, and you may or may not know that those results are summarized and given to the ACCT Board of Directors to look at, to make sure that we stay on point. So please fill those out. And again, let's thank Penny and Karen one last time